nice. It was fun. And the kids, I enjoyed it just as much as the kids that were standing next to me. We were screaming. I was screaming with the kids. And then taking all the pictures. I think I have about 200 pictures that I took yesterday. It was fun. The fire trucks made even more noise. So it was a good day. And then it made me remember the 7 founders of the United States. Did they even think about this? Did they see this vision when they declared independence? At that time, there were 13 colonies that turned to 13 states, and today there's 50 states plus DC. And the 7 founders, I went to look up their names. It was George Washington from Virginia, who was the first president in 1789. But the declaration was in 1776. There was Thomas Jefferson, who was a member of Congress. He was from Virginia. There was John Adams of Massachusetts, and he was the 2nd president of the United States. There was Benjamin Franklin from Pennsylvania. He was political. He was a newspaper editor and printer. There was Alexander Hamilton from New York, the Secretary of the Treasury. John Jay of New York was the governor of New York, and James Madison from Virginia was the father of the Constitution. A wide variety of people who all agreed that there should be independence in the United States. No sending back money to the Queen in the UK, in Great Britain. And then I was thinking, all these heroes here, if they ever went back to Great Britain, would they be welcomed as heroes after doing so much work for the US? Would they be rejected for splitting from the US? And then I realized rejection is relative to the condition, the context. And so we're not to really take rejection personally, because if they were rejected in Britain, look how they are accepted here and remembered. And so for the big picture, rejection is really nothing, and we should be able to shrug it off. When you look at the text, Jesus went home, and he was expecting that at home, that's the place where he will be accepted, but he was wrong. And Jesus was surprised, which surprised me that he was surprised. I mean, he had just healed, he had calmed the storms, the evil storms. He had healed chronic diseases from a hemorrhage woman. He had healed the Jairus' daughter. And he valued faith, and he always talked about having faith, always talked about having faith. And when he goes to his hometown, he does not see faith, and he is disappointed. Verse 1 and 2 says, he left that place and came to his hometown, and his disciples followed him. And on the Sabbath, he began to teach in the synagogue, and many who heard him were astounded. They said, where did this man get all this? What is this wisdom that has been given to him? What deeds of power are being done by his hands? They were just as surprised as he was. And then they remembered his background. And they remembered that even Joseph, he wasn't really sure that Joseph was the father of him. And so he's Mary's son. And Jesus said to them in verse 4-5, he says, prophets are not without honor except in their hometown and among their own kin and in their own house. He was hurt by their rejection. Jesus' family was not one of the elite families. They were carpenters, they were workers in Galilee. They weren't poor, but they weren't elite. So people could be looking down on them. And earlier, we also mentioned how the family was even trying to get him out of his mission, talk him out to be back the carpenter again. And he tried to stop them. And so, like I said in verse 3, it says, the son of Mary, brother of James and Joseph and Judas and Simon, are not his sisters here with us? They really were offended by the power that the Lord had given, the anointing the Lord had put on him. Maybe they thought they should have it instead. Or maybe they didn't believe. It was faith that was missing. And Jesus in verse 6 said, Mark said, Jesus was amazed at their unbelief. Verse 6b says, Jesus went out with his disciples to preach, cast out demons, and heal. So he left his hometown, went to another city to do his work. And he called the 12 and began to send them out 2 by 2 and gave them authority over unclean spirits. Jesus gave them authority to go and do mission work, go and win souls. And he recommended that they go in twos, not alone, go in twos or more. And he said, do not take anything, and whoever welcomes you, don't go and compare with other wealthy people to see if the other homes are better. You take the invitation and you stay with them